Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to another YouTube video of coins. And today in this YouTube video, it is episode 8 of my coin collection. This is going on forever. Not even forever. Can't handle it. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. But anyways, on the serious note, I'm actually dead right now. Yeah. Because you guys did not notice. Holy cow, that's a nice looking 1956D. Wow, what's this? Okay, if I can get these coins out, it'll be so good. Alrighty, guys, we have now gone into the future, where that little thing that was happening is no more. But anyways, we got not a full thing of pennies, but as you guys can see right there, it's quite a bit. So these are the new pennies that I've been getting from the last two $30 in pennies that I've been searching through without you guys. Sorry about that, but that's just life. But yeah, so let's get started. So first, we got a 1955D, 1954D, 1957D, 1956D, 1937 plain date, 1941 plain date, 1944D, 1957D, 1955D, 1957D, 1955DS. Sorry, that was 1955S. And 1952D. And last but not least, 1956 plain date. So that's it for that row. Go ahead and put them back in the roll that I took them out of, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so first full wheat penny roll we got right here. Let me go ahead and open it up, and I need to get like a tripod for my phone or something. Wouldn't that be great? Let's go ahead, let me switch hands here. Alright, so here we go with the first one. 1956D, 1945S, 1946 plain date. Get up a little bit more close and personal. Just like that. 1942 plain date. 1954S. It's gonna be a long video. 1954-55 plain date. 1954D. 1928 plain date. 1956D. 1934 plain date. 1955D. 1957D. 1958D, 1951 plain date, 1956D, 1942D, 1958D, 1945S, 1945 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1958D, 1953 and 1954D, 1944S, 1952D. This one's a nice one. 1919 plain date, 1956D, 1944, 1952D, 1942 plain date. Sorry if I'm going a little bit too fast. I need to get through this. 1957D, 1955D. Alright, let me just face it like this. Alright, and then I'll just tell you. So 1945 plain date, 1955D. There's 1945 plain date, 51D. 49D, 55, or no, 52D, 45D, Canadian Young Head, 51 plain date, 55D, 58D, 51D, 56D, 34 plain date, 56D, and 52D, and 58D. So yeah, let's get to the next roll. Alright guys, we are here, we are back, and we're alive. Alright, so first is a 1958D, 1945D, 1958D, 1956D, 1958D, 1957D, 1952D, 1954D. I don't know. Like, are there any plain dates in this or anything else? 1952D, 1954S, 1955 plain date, 1957D, 1955 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1958D, 1944D, 1956D. Taking a little break. 1957D, 1949D, 1945 plain date, 1934 plain date, 1938 plain date, 1957D, 1950 plain date, 1956D, 1929 plain date, 1944D, 1957D. What else? 1958D, 1945 plain date, 1957D, 1944 plain date, 1953 plain date, 1950D. This one's really, really loaded. 1941 plain date, 1938 plain date, 1956D, 1942 plain date, 1958D, 1946 plain date, 1941 plain date, 1957D, 1957S, yes, that's an S, 1951D, 1944, 1949D, 1958D, 1956D, 1958D, and 1937D. Here we go, on to the next row. Bam. Alrighty guys, I took out the 50s right there because it's getting a little bit boring with the 50s and a little bit too long. So here we go. 1944 plain date, 1919 S, 1940 plain date, 1939 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1946 plain date, 1953 plain date, that's 50, I did not see that. 1947 plain date, 1936 plain date, 1946 plain date, 1946S, 1944 plain date, 1938 plain date, 1935 plain date, 1947 plain date, 1946S, 1943 plain date, 1943 1944 1934 plain date, 1945 plain date, 1946 D. That's actually a really nice looking one. Wowzers, that looks amazing. 1949 plain date, 1939 plain date, 1936 plain date, 1936 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1920 plain date, 1942 D, 1950 S, 1948 plain date, and 1929 plain date. That one right there is a 1929 1929 plain date. Alright, let's go to the next one. Oh, my goodness. That only took like 1 millisecond. I don't know about you guys. But here we got 1946 D, 1944 D, 1946 S, 1943 plain date, 1948 plain date, 1946 plain date, 1945 D, 1942 D, 1944, 1942 D, 1946, 1947 D, 1947 D, 1945, 1925 S, 1925 S. 19, that's a 1925 S. 1942 D, 1929 D, 1925, 1942, 1947, 1940 D, 1945 D, 1946 plain date. Alright, that's the 50s. Let's move on to the next row. Alrighty, guys, that's the 50s. This is all we got. 1940 plain date, 1944 D, 1944 D, 1941 plain date, 1940 plain date, 1947 D. Bam! That's the 50s. So let's go through the 40s, 30s, and the 20s, and the teens. At 1937 plain date, 1939 plain date, 1946 S, 1944 D, 1944 D, 1942 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1949 plain date, 1945 plain date, 1946 plain date, 1944 plain date, 1928 plain date, 1948 1D, 1946 S, 1944, 1942 plain date, 1949 plain date, 1947 S, 1945 D, 1945 D, 1945 S, 1946 S, 1944 D, 1919. Let's go a bit more up. Full focus. Is that a 1919? I'm pretty sure it is. That's really slicked out. 1919 plain date, 1920 plain date, 1935 plain date, 1942 plain date, 1944 S, 1945 plain date, 1945 D, 1941 plain date, and 1924 plain date. Wowzers. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this YouTube video. Sorry this is like 10 minutes long. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys didn't already, please still go down and comment, like, and feel free to subscribe. Well, thank you guys anyways so much for watching. Peace, guys. Happy hunting. See you later. Bye-bye. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...